Daria Saville had been on a roll as of late. After a slump in the past few years that knocked her ranking down quite a bit, she became the lowest-ranked player ever to make it to the quarterfinals of the Miami Open. She made it back to the top 50 shortly after, but now it has all come to a screeching halt. Today we'll be taking a look at what happened to her and more. Let's begin. First up, what happened to Daria Saville? Just 14 minutes into the Pan-Pacific Open match between Daria Saville and Naomi Osaka in Tokyo, the 28-year-old Aussie star collapsed on the floor from an apparent injury. Upon further inspection, it was revealed that the collapse happened as a result of Saville's left knee hitting a cross-court forehand, injuring her. You can actually hear her scream, "My knee," as she cries out in agony after the devastating blow. The match was retired shortly after this incident, and her opponent Naomi Osaka described the ordeal as terrifying. After all, Naomi is no stranger to knee injuries, so she of all people should know how devastating the injury must have been. Naomi helped Daria walk to the courtside, but after a few tests, Daria was still not able to put any pressure on her left knee. Shortly after the match ended, Daria sent out a tweet stating she was devastated and didn't know what was happening. She added that she will be getting an MRI the following day, telling fans to pray that it wasn't an ACL. Coming up, what did Saville's MRI results reveal? When the MRI results for Saville's injury finally came out, it turned out to be her worst nightmare. It was revealed that she suffered from a torn ACL, possibly one of the worst injuries any athlete can go through. Saville said that she was having 2013 flashbacks, referring to when she previously tore her ACL after a match against Serena Williams. There are quite a few similarities between then and now. Both times, Saville was a low-ranked player going up against one of the most iconic players in the world. It's the second time in a row that her resurgence was cut short by a torn ACL. Aside from the knee injury, Saville also suffered from an Achilles injury back in 2019 and 2020, and this put her out for a while. At 28 years of age, it doesn't seem like she's going to be any more physically durable than before, which is why such an injury is a terrifying prospect. However, her opponent Naomi Osaka thinks that Saville is going to overcome the odds and be okay, saying she's a fighter. She added that it feels weird to win a match in such a manner, saying it doesn't really feel like a victory. Up next, how long will it take Daria to heal? A torn ACL usually requires emergency surgery. Daria had already undergone this surgery before in 2013 and had to be out of the tennis race for almost half a year. But since this is going to be her second injury, it's expected to take at least 12 months for Daria to completely heal enough so that she can play tennis. This also had a lot of fans wondering whether she's truly ready to go back into the tennis court after her surgery. But the thing is, many tennis players have made a comeback from an injury like this in the past, and that list includes Daria. Some of these players include Yoshihito Nishioka of Japan, who reached his highest peak after recovering from an ACL injury, and Sabine Lisicki. At the same time, there have been other players who were forced to retire due to ACL or other knee-related injuries. So it's likely not going to be easy for Daria down the road. But with that said, Daria is still young and has proven to not let injuries deter her in the past. With modern medicine and physiotherapy, she still has a rather high chance of making a comeback, but we'll just have to wait and see if it actually happens. Next, Daria loses her cool at some of her colleagues. Even though Daria received a lot of support from fans and members of the tennis community, including her opponent Naomi Osaka, she feels that her colleagues didn't stick by her as much as she would have liked. She wrote a tweet in which she thanked all of the fans and friends that bothered to give her their support in the wake of such a horrific injury. At the same time, Daria said that she would be adding a bunch of her colleagues to her S list for seeing her walk out of the match on crutches and not even bother to say a single word. She added that it can't be hard to be a nice person. Following this, she said that even if she does make a full recovery, it's going to be difficult for her to work with the same people again, adding that the prospect of spending most of her time with them and seeing them all the time is just something that makes her sad and depressed. She didn't bash all of her colleagues, though. She said that all of the people that did bother to check on her are definitely on her good list. She didn't mention any specific names in both instances, but it seems like there's going to be a lot of tension between Daria and her team in the future. Now, let's take a look at some other related stories. First, Frances Tiafoe wins Laver's Cup. Frances Tiafoe is looking to be one of the best American tennis players in the world right now. He's currently ranked number 19 in the world and has recently won the Laver's Cup as part of Team World. The team defeated Team Europe 13-8, and the victory came as a result of Tiafoe's 4 match points against Stefanos Tsitsipas, giving his team the edge it needed to win. Tiafoe collapsed on the floor soon after his win out of sheer exhaustion as his teammates ran towards him in celebration. The O2 Arena also lit up with cheers for the American's performance, and overall, it may have cemented his place as one of the brightest prospects in tennis right now. Tiafoe is currently only 24 years old, and he has already become a hero in a sense. In the future, we might just see him win a Grand Slam or two. It'll be very interesting to see where his career goes next, and with this victory, he's likely going to see his highest rankings be surpassed once again. Up next, Medvedev praises Carlos Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz has been the name of everyone's mind, at least in the tennis tennis world ever since his victory at the 2022 U.S. Open. Alcaraz, at 19 years of age, became the youngest player to ever win a U.S. Open, as well as the youngest player to reach the top of the men's tennis singles rankings. Even though Alcaraz has already received plenty of fanfare from the audience, he's also turned a couple of tennis legends into his fans. One example is the former world number one, Daniil Medvedev. The Russian legend said that Alcaraz's level of tennis is absolutely ridiculous, adding that it's even more insane since Alcaraz knows exactly how good he is. He also said that he's really happy to see Alcaraz see the level of success that he's seen over the past year, adding that he's constantly in contact with him and wants to congratulate him in person soon. Alcaraz hasn't really responded to these comments from Medvedev, but it has to be pretty cool as a 19-year-old player to be praised by one of the greatest tennis players of all time. For now, it seems like he was busy live tweeting throughout Roger Federer's final match. And finally, Bublik booed out of the Moselle Open. Kazakhstani player Alexander Bublik has had quite a fall from grace among fans since he reached his peak ranking of number 30 last year. Not only is he down to number 44, but he's also getting into some controversies as of late. During the final of the 2022 Moselle Open against Lorenzo Sonego, Bublik was behind by a set and a break. After being gifted a second break by his opponent and performing an impressive first serve, he was surprisingly reflected by his Italian opponent. Upon seeing this, Bublik decided to try to play the shot in a rather strange way by turning his racket around and holding it by the frame, hitting the ball with the handle. It went about as well as anyone would have expected, and Sonego won the point. This immediately led to Bublik receiving boos from practically the entire stadium. Fans weren't happy with his lack of respect for the game or his opponent. Commentators were also calling Bublik out to his behavior, adding that this was the finals of the tournament, yet the Kazakh player still chose to act as if it were a meaningless game. Sonego went on to win the match, making it his third ATP title. It would have been Bublik's second ATP title had he won the match, but it seemed like he had other plans. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Saville will make her way out of this injury? Let us know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.